We have storms in the area. All right, there we go. So we're live again. I had to redo. There was a connection failure. We have a lot of storms in the area. And so YouTube dropped the connection. They don't allow you to just continue off where you were. I was not aware until somebody typed in. I've been trying to get it running. Now, the first thing that happened was I lost all the chat, and then the connection kind of crapped out. There's a lot of storms in the area, and so I kept getting warning that the connection was unstable, and YouTube just dropped the connection. So that's what happened. So I just started a new session, and basically it's going to stop this one. You know, it's one of these things with technology. We get a little bit of rain or we get a lot of wind, and sometimes first thing you do is you start losing internet. That's another reason we don't bundle our internet with the Wi-Fi company, because if the Wi-Fi company we have here is called Spectrum, they go down very frequently. And if they go down and you have your TV through them, you're basically, everything's gone, no entertainment. So we have it separate for that reason. But yeah, so there was a problem with the connection. So the first thing I lost was the chat. It just disappeared. So I couldn't see what you guys were typing. And then the next thing was the picture just started refreshing. So anyway, but where we were talking about the nutrition, or what the gentleman said, that he uses nutrition, not diet. I think that if you're active, you can really get away with a lot of stuff, but you still have to focus if you have specific goals, like he was saying, body to weight ratio, keeping this power up. And a lot of times you can get a little crazy. So what I try to do is I make sure that if I get a piece of steak on the plate, it doesn't take up the whole plate. Just get a balance, because I don't have time to count calories and all of that. So you just want to eat what your body craves. A lot of times, if your body feels like, man, I want a peanut butter sandwich, get that, because there's a reason. Well, your mind would tell you, you eat till you're satisfied. And if you eat consistently, then you won't binge. You know, that's why I carry a lot of food on the bike. I don't like to go hungry on the bike, because we burn a lot of calories, you know. But I don't really worry so much about the weight. I just make sure I stay active. And I think if you're doing that, you're okay. If you're getting ready for an event and you're trying to fine tune, yeah, you can get a little specific. But once your event has come and passed, you can relax a little bit, because it's hard to be hard on yourself the whole year. That's one thing to keep in mind. So you want to make sure that you're basically being reasonable, and you just make adjustments to your lifestyle, because that's what lasts. You know, diets, what people are just doing for a little while, it's hard to maintain. Just make change. We gain weight because we sit around more, but we don't see it coming until a certain point, and then we want for it to go right away. Well, you can't lose it, because you gain it over a period of time. It might be months or years. It's going to take some time to lose it. But we just end up changing our lifestyle. And so what I try to tell people is make the changes that you left on the table. So if you used to be active and you got inactive, once you realize you want to get in shape, you got to get back to being active again. That's really how it works, you know. So there's no quick fix per se that will last. You've got to really just say, okay, this is what I can do and this is what I can maintain. Because you have to make reasonable changes that will work for your life if you want to really stay in shape per se, you know. And, you know, you can't cheat. You got to stay with the program. So let's see some of the comments that we had. As I remember here, we had people asking about, you know, the tubeless tires versus, you know, regular tires and so forth, like the ride that it gives you or whatever. I've never ridden tubeless, so I cannot refute those claims. But even if it's giving you the ride, I don't know if the ride is that much better to deal with all the headaches, you know, and as I said, and having to carry a tube. So if I got to carry a tube anyway, why should I fight to mount and remove the tire? Then I've got to put a sealant in there, and sometimes it's messy. And in certain cases, I might need a special compressor to get the bead to really get in there and get seated in there. You know, it's a little more technical for the average home mechanic when you start going tubeless. So you've got to really be cautious in how you switch. And the only reason to switch is if what you have is not working for you. Don't fall for that marketing stuff. The reason why they market stuff is because you don't need it. Because if you needed it, they wouldn't need to market it. You'd go seek it out. So every week they got something new, and the fastest bike and whatever. The bike's only as fast as the rider that's on it. A lot of times we'll do the rides with these guys, and I'll lay my frame at the store. We're going to buy stuff. One day, Paul saw somebody tapping my frame to make sure it was steel. It's like this guy riding a steel bike. Yeah, you work a little harder, but I love the feel of it. But it's the equipment's important, but it's not number one. I think that getting fitted to your bike is critical, and getting a good training plan and understanding how to train, understanding how to get yourself in shape. That's very critical. The gear is good to have, but unless you're at the top level, it doesn't make that big of a difference. Now if we're climbing a mountain or whatever, yeah, I want to ride the lightest possible bike. You see the pros throw bottles off their bikes or whatever, because you're dealing with gravity and you're carrying more weight, you're going to go a little slower, even at the same output. But it's more important to focus on what power can I maintain, what effort. So if you're training with heart rate, what effort can I maintain? What's the highest effort I can maintain for the duration? Doesn't mean you're going max. We're talking about threshold. What we call push the ceiling. So once you start getting into the red zone, you can only stay there so long. So you're not going to be there for 30 minutes. So you've got to push your ceiling to where before you get into the red zone, your ceiling's high enough to where you can go, say, longer and longer right at threshold, because that's where you really develop power. Doesn't mean you never go into the red, but you have to build your tolerance for going in there and recovering from it and being able to do that repeatedly. That's a different kind of training. That's on the high end side. But it all starts with riding frequently, building a good base, because if you have a high base, then the quality of that effort is at a high level so that you can go harder, longer before you even start getting into your red area, your red zones. That's the key, So training is a science, otherwise you're just riding around and you hope to get better over time. The guys are, the app is active on my phone right here. That's Team RR. They have an app that they use called Group Me. That's what just popped up. And what they're talking about is that they're dancing around the weather again, which is what we chuckle about. They're planning their life around the rain. They're making dibs for Sunday because we're supposed to have rain on Saturday, but they're not sure when. So if you look at the weather app for our area, it gives you a percentage for the whole day. I like to look at the hour by hour. So for example, right now, we're supposed to have 70% chance of rain on Saturday. Okay, so if you look at the hour by hour, at 9 a.m., there's a 50%, and then it starts going up. So it's going to rain somewhere in the area. And when you're on a bicycle, it doesn't matter whether it rains on you or somewhere in the area. If the road's messy, you're going to get dirty if you're not equipped. So let's see. Let me go to the beginning. So at 7 p.m. tonight, there's a 70% chance of rain. And once I look at this, the entire evening, there's chances of rain. That means the roads are going to be wet in the morning. Wet roads for us, if you don't have your mud guards on, means a wet bum, dirty shoes, whatever. So with that much rain, the guys are already making dips for Sunday versus skipping Saturday. Last Saturday, they didn't ride either. And when we went out there on Saturday, it was actually pretty nice. It didn't rain that much. There were certain pockets of rain, but nothing that significant. And that's what annoys me. If I'm going to put on all this stuff, I want some rain. So it's going to rain tomorrow. It's raining now somewhere in the area. And then Sunday, it's clear. So they're saying they're going to ride on Sunday. Well, that's okay if you can do that. But if you have an event coming up and you need to train a certain amount of blocks, unless you're going to put the bike on the trainer, there's a certain consistency you're looking for. Saturday is my day to ride the longest. So I don't care unless there's lightning and stuff that's dangerous. And yeah, but just rain, I'm gonna ride, you know. And we got different things that we're testing in each rainy ride to continually improve to the point where we ride now, our feet are dry, you know, the rest of our bodies dry. And it's so warm now that I actually want the rain to get me wet because it actually feels good. Because these jerseys, they wick really well. So when it rains on you, if it's above 20 Celsius, it feels pretty good, you know. So I'm looking forward to it. So we're going to be riding tomorrow. I mean, we may do some clips. I don't know. It's kind of hard to film in the rain because you get all that rain on the camera. But we have rain in the area, so everybody's like wimping out. So you get a lot of people type, I'm out for Saturday, I'm out for this. And, you know, we always laugh because if you're out for Saturday, we don't need to know. When we show up for the ride and you're not there, we'll know. You don't need to tell us you're out. You know, most of the rides we do, like, for example, the WCC guys, they just have a standing ride. 7:30 on Saturday at the Ashland YMCA all year. On their site, they say the route and the pace will be determined based on who's there and the time of year. That's it. Nobody texts anybody or does anything to say we're riding tomorrow or whatever. When you show up, there will be somebody there. I like that setup because it doesn't put a lot of pressure on any one person to keep that ride alive. There is a standing appointment at that location every Saturday all year. Then on Sunday, they have a standing appointment at a location at 2978. Actually, on Egypt Road, where we get on the film, Egypt Lane to 1488. Before you get to 1488, there is a shopping center. There's a gold or world gym there. I think it's Gold's Gym. And they have a genuine wine tasting place there. That's where they meet every Sunday at 7:30. So they have two locations where there are rides. So you don't need to know anybody. You don't need to know who's riding, who's not riding. If you get there on time, at that time, there will be riders there. And then you guys can decide. And then what they do is they split up into different groups. So it's like a standing ride. There's no need for these chats, like who's in and who's out and all that. You know, they don't do that. So if you get there on time, you just go with them. So there's always a ride. Then they have other rides in the woodlands that leads from Whole Foods. So they have different locations if you want to ride with different groups. Then they have Sun and Ski also has a ride. So there's always a chance to ride with somebody. And that way if you want company, you just kind of roll. And a lot of times on Sundays, they ride just in the woodlands. So it's very local. So it's kind of good. You get to know some of your local routes. There are a lot of quiet roads that people don't usually find on their own. And it's a good thing to do that with a group. You get to really see where people go. I think it's kind of nice, you know. So so the other session kind of ended in abruptly because of technical issues. And so we started this. I'm hoping that everybody kind of transfers over. Some of the people were from Japan and other places. So it's in the morning there already. They're probably going on with the day, but I don't let the rain stop me. I make an appointment with the bike and I decide to keep it, but I'm not going to go out there if there's a chance of a lot of flooding or whatever else. But the rains we're having, the very light rain, it's kind of like you have, say in Seattle, Portland, just light showers. I mean, nothing. In fact, I like that it's going to rain tonight because it will clean the roads. And in the morning, you know, you're better off. It's this the summer showers are a drag because they just kind of leave a film of dust on the road. You know, you get that little oily surface and slippery. I like the steady rain. It gets to clean the pavement, you know, and we stick the mud guards are going to go on that bike. And so I'm leaving those wheels on there and just put the mud guards on there. The Continental Ultra Sports on there. And if you're looking for a reasonable price tire, Continental Ultra Sport rides really well, decent puncture protection, wears long. I mean, it's low TPI, but you get a good road feel from it. I don't like the super hard tires. It feels like you're riding on wood or something. These have a good feel to it, and they're reasonable. You can get them for like $20, you know, per tire. It's pretty good. So I use those on the trainer, and I just put it on the road. you know, because sometimes I get up early in the morning. I want to just spin before I start my day. And it's just easier to jump on a trainer and put on all the stuff to go out. I like to dress to go out if I'm going to be going for a minimum of 2 hours. Otherwise, I just get on the trainer, you know, and spin. So we're going to go ahead and stop there. It looks like we lost a bunch of the people from the other session, but I will try to get some clips tomorrow and release a video on Monday, get back into the routine because we missed last week. We just didn't film. We started in the morning and then we got out there and we're like, you know, there's not a whole lot to do. Let's just go ahead and skip this week. So I'm glad we're able to get a chance to do this live session. So if anybody has questions, I don't see any chats. I don't know if they, yeah, there we go. Something happened to the other one. So I thought maybe this was messed up. But we're going to go ahead and end this session. Get your K's in. Let nothing stop you until we chat again. You guys stay safe out there.